Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on our Power of Six call. My name is Verdita Monk, and my husband and I live here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we are senior presidential directors with Lifeway. Really, really excited about what's happening here. And I always look forward to this call because I know that when I get on this call, I'm talking to the right people. I'm talking to somebody that's like-minded, and they're very, very serious about what we're doing to help people to expand our businesses. And specifically, this call is designed to share ways for those people who want to accelerate their business. And therefore, we came up with this name called the Power Six. But I'm going to go ahead and, share some information with you tonight. I just once again thank all of you for joining. So tonight, you guys, first of all, I want to remind you that the Power Six, excuse me, is a simple duplicatable system of enrolling 6 partners in order to maximize the binary plan and matching bonuses. There is a system that we use to get there because, I discovered very quickly that many people did not really realize that this compensation plan is so lucrative. So I came up with a very simple system. I'm a mathematician, so I tend to, gravitate toward numbers and simplify things. And so that's how I came up with this system. But what we're going to be talking about tonight, it's going to start out kind of slow because, this call is also all about mindset. If your mindset is not right, unfortunately, you're not going to succeed. And if you're, certain things are in place that you have to do, that if you do not do those things, you are not going to succeed. So let me talk about tonight a subject called You Must Not Know Me. Okay, how to access the superpower of weakness. Okay, and so I'm gonna tell you what made me think of this title. I've kind of shared this story before, and it may be redundant to some of you, but I remember saying this to somebody when someone told me about 20 years ago. I had a chronic illness, and someone and we were at a Bible study, and my husband asked him to pray for me because I was going to have surgery the next day. So the first person that called me was someone who was at the Bible study, and she called to say, Verdita, I just called to see how you were doing because I knew you were having surgery. And so I just wanted, and I told her I was doing fine. She said, I know you're doing fine because God showed me you were going to be doing fine. But I want to share with you this vision that he shared with me. And God shared this vision to this person, showing me and my husband on a platform where there was thousands of people. He was holding a microphone and I was standing next to him. And so that audience, I interpret that as a church, as when he said ministry, he said you are in ministry. And so I interpret that as a church. But then the second person came along, said the same thing. It was 4 people that said the same thing in a matter of just weeks. The last person was my mother. The only thing she added to what the other people had said was, she said, tell Harvey to read the book of Jonah and read it twice. But to the first person that told me that shared that vision with me, I told her, I told her, you must not know my husband. Okay, that's what I told her because I'm looking at it as a pastor or something. And so about a month ago, it dawned on me that what we're doing here at Lifeway is the ministry, is the vision that these people had. How can 4 people, it was the same exact vision. How can 4 people have the same vision within a short period of time? And then all of them went out of their way. One person worked at my job, came to my office and told me. All of them went out of their way to make sure that they told me. They didn't tell Harvey, they told me, okay? So I said, I kept saying, Harvey's not a minister. So this is what I want to say. You must not know me. Okay. How to access the superpower of weakness. Now, I'm going to, like I said, it's going to start out kind of slow. Why are we all different? And regarding genetic variation, our DNA and genetic makeups are unique. Environmental factors can make us different. Different experiences, our different upbringing and cultural influence shape our personalities and behavior. All of these things make us different. Individual differences, such as each person has their own combination of traits, preferences, and abilities. And also just being different makes you interesting. If you had to walk out of your house every day and everybody you saw look just like you, just act just like you, it would be a kind of a boring world. So while humans love familiarity, we're also very curious. If you're different, you have a different story to tell, and that makes you more interesting to other people. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Say, what just happened? Stop share. What just happened? Okay, I don't know what happened there. I stopped everything. Okay, interested in other people. So let me see if I can get back to where I was. Now, being different makes you see situations in a different way, which can be helpful because you can come up with ideas people haven't even thought about before. You can explain things in different ways, change people's perspectives, understand things other people don't. That's why I really like to corroborate. If I come up with some idea, and especially if it's going to affect other people on the team, I like to corroborate with someone else to see what their perspective is. So I love the fact that we have people in our company with all kinds of backgrounds. If I was to look at this list right here, I can tell you almost many of you I know. Angela McMillan, I think she has a company where she oversees all these beauty salons. Anthony Stroman, he's in ministry, and I don't know what else he does, but he's a coach. Candace, I don't know Candace. Danny Smith. Danny Smith is an engineer. Gwen Millsap, she used to be in banking, but she's retired now. She does this business full time. James Thompson, professional football player, and his wife is a pharmacist. Matter of fact, they taught me a new word yesterday taught me this new word called pluripotent. I never heard of that word before, but it means that the patch is capable of let me see what it is say. Is capable of giving rise to several different cell types. Like we got every part of your body, you got your kidney, your liver, all of those parts of the body have a different cell type. Jeffrey Payton, he's a hairstylist. He's a entrepreneur, upholstery work. Juanita Kraft, retired aerospace engineer. Kelly Fowler, engineer, electrical engineer. So you see what I'm saying? All these different kind of people that have Monique Dotson, yoga instructor, coach, book, writer. She has her own podcast. Just everybody has something different, and that's what makes this business interesting. So when you think, sometimes people think, well, I can't do this. I can't, but listen, you guys, we have a gold mine. Number one, the product itself is a gold mine. And just the fact that we are different makes us have this gold mine as well. So when you hear it being said all the time that everybody's different, listen, and when they talk about the patch, we always clarify, I can't say this is going to happen to you because you got a different DNA and everybody's different, but this is an asset to our product line because some people think of it as a liability, but think about this. If you got all these different kinds of people, that's going to give you different issues that you can help people rid themselves of just because of the fact that the patch can do so many things. If everybody's DNA was the same, more than likely, it'd be boring. We couldn't have something to be proud of it and to talk about. But people that, have these migraine headaches, look at this man. Do you all know how many people I have heard that are no longer blind because of this patch? Maybe they could see out of one eye, couldn't see out of the other. What about these people that we know? I think even Gwen Millsap's husband, I don't know if he was in a wheelchair, but I know he was on a walker no longer. Okay, and then Wendell Thompson, same thing. Look at this. These situations. Look at this man that had vitiligo and no longer. So these different issues create opportunities for us to demonstrate the power of the patch. So a lot of people say, well, I want to make a lot of money. I want to make it real quick. Listen, if you want to win the game, you got to get in the game. Okay. So, let's go. So what you have to do, this is the part where we talk about accelerating our business. Tell somebody about this amazing technology immediately. Why? Why immediately? Because your energy is most contagious when you first get started due to your testimony or someone else's testimony. So we talked about this before. Success loves speed, and there's nothing faster than the speed of relationships. You're gonna get someone on this patch much quicker if they trust you, somebody that you care about. If you let them know, if this is why it's important for you to have that passion yourself, or maybe the patch did something for you that you can share with your mom or someone to make them confident. There are going to be people that they just not going to try it for whatever the reason is, but you gotta tell them anyway. So let me tell y'all something. And the reason I really wanted to make sure you get this, because I don't have time or the capacity right now to explain everything, but I told you a little bit last week about the fact that that the new comp plan is coming out. But one thing I can tell you about this new comp plan is we're going, right now, if you was to get a person started, they just got started, you say, let's launch your business. We always want to, we do that because we want to, just keep it going. We want our business to grow, but you're going to be financially rewarded if you get people started right away. So I'll give you an example, and this is the truth. Let's say you got somebody in, they came in with an advanced package. They turn around, you launch them. They get a few people. It doesn't have to be many. Get a few people on a call, like a Zoom call, and do the opportunity, share the testimonies. They get an advanced pack in, and they get a core pack. That's just 2 people. Do you know that just because you sign those 2 people up, and that happens the first week, the company will pay you $25? And that person is going to pay the new person, $25. Isn't that going to be encouraging? They will do that for 9 weeks. So in other words, for the first 9 weeks that you're in the business, if you maintain that 750 points in volume, that's what I just demonstrated to you. That was 780, the 2 advanced and 1 core. By the way, your own personal volume counts. So if you bring a new person and they come on in advance and they get an advance, that's 600 points. They bring in a core, that's 180, that's 780. So if it's over 750 points, that makes you what we're going to call a 1-star manager. Okay. And then the company's going to give you $25, give that person $25 as long as those people are active. So they're going to be active for 4 weeks. But if they stay active another, 4.5, for 9 weeks straight, you're going to make $225. They're going to make $225 themselves. And you, as their sponsor, you're going to get a 50% match. So they'll make $225 if they just did $225, and you'll make $112. But guess what? What if they had 1,500 points? What if they went on and not just got those 2 or 3 people in? If they get double that, just go ahead and double what they just did, get another advance, get to 1,500 points. They're going to get $50 a week, but this is only available for their first 9 weeks. So if they make $450, you make $225. Now you tell me how many people you want to launch. Does that make a difference to you to get them going right away, rather than letting them wait a whole 2 weeks? They just lost $50. And they're going to say, why didn't you tell me, So, you guys, let's just hold on to this. I just gave you a little snippet of something, and everybody's going to get the whole comp plan by next Tuesday, whatever the 3rd of June is, maybe next Tuesday. And then they're going to do if you're a director above, they're going to have a live training next Saturday. But everybody's going to get the printout. But I just wanted to kind of back up what I'm talking about. I want all of us to just kind of start thinking about just launching people, because you're going to be a disservice to you, and you're going to be a disservice to themselves. The company has designed the new comp plan to reward the new people to put money in their pocket fast. Think about this. If the new people, they get money in their pocket quicker, think of what kind of momentum it's going to create for you. And they're not going to be quitting. People quit because they don't make money. Okay. So with that being the case, I just wanted to share that thought with you all this evening. But I did have some people on the call that are doing exactly what I'm talking about. If you know who you are, come on here and share some success tips with some of the people that are on the call. I'm not gonna call any names. Y'all can just unmute yourselves. Hey there, Renee.
How you doing, Verdita?
I'm wonderful.
I'm so excited. When I first got into this company, what you all taught me was duplication. And that means a lot. What I see you do, I do. So when we bring people in, what we want to do as quickly as possible is get on those Zoom calls, make those three-way calls, help your people in your downline. Even if you've got to reach down 4 or 5 generations, go down there and get them in. When you get an influencer, do all you can to help them, teach them all that you know so that they can duplicate down to their downline. We went up this weekend. I live in Richmond, Virginia. We went up to York, Pennsylvania this weekend, and we were helping someone that's 5 generations down in our downline. Know why? Because they want to build their business. Like you said, they want to be to a point where they can be successful and get a paycheck coming in. In addition to, we seeing this as a ministry to help people with get better health. So guys, get out there and do what you're being told. Listen to our leaders. Do what they say do. Help others get what they want. Isn't that what the company say? You can have anything in life that you want as long as you help others get what they want. So be about getting these people trained up, making managers, help. And all I can say is just continue to help, and it'll benefit you yourself in the long run.
Well, thank you, Renee, for sharing that. And I just want to say thank you to you and Wendell, because you all are definitely setting the pace for your team. I'm telling you, all I hear is all kind of success stories coming out of Richmond, Virginia. We're going to be up there in June. So
Yeah,
y'all look out for us up there. And thank you all for your leadership. Is that Wendell trying to say something?
yes, he's right. He's right here. Yeah, here you
Hey,
go.
Wendell.
Hey, how's it going? I'm just excited too. You know, the main thing is just helping those get what they need. Because when you see those people get fired up and they jump start their business, it's amazing. You're just falling in place too with them. You know, so it's amazing how everybody just catch a fire. Because when they catch fire, the fire keeps on going. You know what I mean? You have a blaze before you know it.
Well, you know what, when we had our regional event, I had asked Renee and Wendell to come up on the stage, and the reason I did was because this couple, they say that where they are, people like to come out. They like to come to wherever the presentation. They don't like to just get on the Zoom. And I'm telling you, they do these home parties all the time with 20 and 30 people in the room. They do these trainings. And I think you said your trainings, you normally have at least about 50 people in the room. They're self-motivated. That's the kind of person. These are the kinds of people that's gonna go straight to the top. They're setting the pace for the team. So thank you all for setting the pace for your team, and you all are doing exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you so much. It seems like Renee McCray, she's showing her face. Are you trying to come on and say something, Renee? Out of New York? It was good seeing you this past weekend at Ken Robinson celebration. Is you trying to say something, Renee?
I was not. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
But it was great. It was great seeing you too. You know, even though it wasn't the happiest of events, but you know, it was a good weekend though.
But you know, this girl she would not hesitate to get on the road. She came all the way from New York. I met her the first time when Steve and Gina Merritt came to Atlanta, and she just got on a plane and flew, went to Fayetteville, North Carolina. She drove, she and her husband drove down there. She would get on the road and go anywhere. But the thing is, she was not personally enrolled by Ken Robinson, but she was personally coached by him, because when her sponsor and that sponsor, whatever, kind of disappeared on her or whatever happened, she didn't say, okay, I lost my, she knows how to go up line. So I know you're going to miss, Ken, but this is why we all work together, and anything we could do to help you, Renee, let us know.
You know what? I really, 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 really appreciate that. You know, you and I have been friends ever since the first time we met. We just clicked right away. And, and I appreciate you so much, because Ken, he was my personal mentor, my personal business mentor for the last 2.5 years. He did find me. He did just what you were talking about. He went down and he called me and he said, I see your production, this, that, and the other. My name is so da 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 da. And I was really a little bit skeptical at first because first of all, I didn't want to do the business. I was just telling my friends about the product. And then, but he just started really telling me how much of a difference I could make and how much I could, earn and everything. And it just started getting better. But he was right there and he was constantly giving me advice. So, but then, like I said, there was times, he really started getting bigger and bigger. And, I called you and I said, well, can you do something for me? And you said, absolutely. And I just appreciate that so much that you always had my back. I didn't necessarily call you all the time, but whenever I did call you, you were right there and you were willing to help me in any way that you could. And I so appreciate that. And I'm just hoping that, and I know that in the future, as we move forward, our teams are going to be so cohesive and so strong because we have the support of so many.
That's right. It's very important. That's why I like the fact that, we're just all sharing and, everybody on this call is I'm not necessarily everybody's upline that's on this call, but anybody is welcome because like I was talking about different personalities, different backgrounds, we learn from each other. So I see another person on the call that we can learn from. This engineer, Miss Kelly Fowler, who I consider a genius. But go ahead, Miss Kelly, and share something with
Oh
us
my
tonight.
goodness. Thank you so much, Verdita. We appreciate you and all that you do. And all I want to do is encourage everyone to lead with the opportunity. A lot of times we're all fired up about our story and the technology and our body's healing itself. We're reversing in age. Our hearts are 8 years younger every 6 months. All that is wonderful. But what I found is as soon as I switched it up, hey, are you looking at other ways to make money? Are you looking at ways to bring in more revenue? And especially in this time that we're living in, when everything is very costly just to live, we should be leading with the opportunity. And our resources speak for themselves. Everything is duplicatable. Everything you've heard earlier that was said, I'm not going to go back over that because I thought it was said flawlessly. And get to the major conferences. I was at the very first This Is It team conference in Tampa 2 years ago. And I'm telling you, that's why I'm still here today. That's why I've been able to sponsor 90 plus people. I don't even know the number anymore. I'm not at 100 quite yet. I'm on my way. But it's because I'm leading with the opportunity. So I want to encourage everyone, lead with the opportunity. Thank you, Verdita, for
Well,
allowing
Kelly,
me to
before
share.
you go, I remember us having a conversation maybe a couple of weeks ago, and Kelly, I was kind of surprised when she said this on one of the calls that she was doing, because she's one of our presenters on our team calls, and she ended with the call saying, I've been a multimillionaire for several years. And she said, I'm doing this business because I want to. That's what she said.
Yeah.
And so I told her, I said, Kelly, because, although Kelly has brought a lot of people in, what you shared with me was your issue of finding other people who wanted to duplicate. And so I said, Kelly, the people that know you, we started talking about the success that she has had. Are people on your team already, or people that you may have told about the pet know the people that know your success, have you really told those people about it? And so she's telling you what she's doing. She changed her whole approach. And give an example what has happened just in those last couple of weeks when you changed your approach.
Well, people, like, what I did is I started just going to naturopathic chiropractors in my area. And that alone, thinking with like-minded people who need what I have and who would be already in the mindset of helping others. So therefore the volume and the BV and the PV and everything will be growing. So that was number one. And number two, talking to other people who had influence, not just myself and in my sphere of influence, but using others' spheres of influence who maybe even broader, and having them say, hey, you have a great story. Now, let's find people who want to make some money. That's where I'm going with this now. Okay, let's find others who want to make some money, because this technology is a disruptor for allopathic medicine, right? Our Western protocol, which is
Mhm.
basically give you a pharma and let's cut you on, let's cut on you, right? Surgery. And we have
Mhm.
something that can, our bodies are healing itself that can get rid of both of those scenarios. And so I love it because we're proprietary. We have 15 more years and it's willable and transferable. And I am a business person. So just me going and leading with the opportunity, I feel liberated, y'all. Okay?
Yeah, good.
Right.
That's
And I'm
good.
loving
I,
having the accountability sessions with you, because we need to be accountable to someone in our upline. Partner up with somebody. This is a business. And
that's
I have
good.
had a business before. I'm an engineer and worked in automotive, advanced technology, advanced stuff. So this is right up my wheelhouse. But we have to treat it like a business and look for business-minded people who want to make some money.
That's right. Y'all, we better start doing that, because I'm
Right.
telling you, there's the people, there's so many people on Stephen Gina Merritt's team that were, I mean, I just know because I've listened to them on the calls, and then I've also, just found out that a lot of them were already multimillionaires. I think Carl Firestone may have had, I don't know, 8 or 9 businesses or something. So when a person like him, and you're in his circle, and he calls you and say, I've got this business opportunity, I think you might want to take a look at it. They're gonna listen because they already know he's a millionaire. I got some people that are some friends that are millionaires. If they were to turn me on to something, I'm gonna listen. So when Kelly, I liked also because she's so, I mean, she understands exactly what the patch does. Just like when I was talking to yesterday, Santa Thompson, who's a retired pharmacist. If you want to chime in, Santa, because Santa, boy, she knows that medical part. And people who know her, she's the same thing. She and her husband James have brought a whole lot of people in just because of their knowledge and their passion and what it has done for them. So thank you for sharing, Kelly. Anybody else want to just jump in and share whatever you think? We don't have to stick to the same subject, Hey, Gwen.
Hey, Verdita. Did I unmute? Okay,
Yeah.
good. This is so good. This is so good. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. When I approach people and I get them started, I think about how it was with me and you when I got started. I want to know, when you start a new job and they give you a trainer, you stick right with that trainer because you want to learn that job, right? A
Mhm.
leader will step up and identify themselves. They will come to the top. You have people that you start, and the next thing you know, you're checking on them. They've already done it. They're out there doing it. A leader will identify themselves, and they don't need as much. They will get on the calls. They will do what they need to do. They will check in with you and be accountable. Then you have some of those that desire and want to do the business, but they're not quite there with that skill. And so you have to reach back and get them and help them. As long as they're showing me that they're willing to do the next step, I'm willing to do the one in front of them. And that's what we have to teach people and tell people. I'm not going to do it for you. I'll help you and I'll show you the first couple of times. But then if I keep coming back to you and asking you, did you get the phone number so we can do the 3-way? Did you call the lady, follow up that you passed? And you keep telling me, well, I'm working on that. That tells me your mind and your heart is somewhere else.
That's right.
So I'm not going to wait on you, but I'm here for you when you want to come back. We cannot sit and wait for people. We have got to stop babysitting them. And your auto ship didn't go through? What happened? Okay, a couple of times that's okay. But every month, come on now. There's something wrong with that picture. So I'm learning this is a business and you got to treat it like a business. So, and just remember, the leaders will come to the top. And those are the ones that you do not have to put the work in. They will pursue. I pursue Verdita. God knows I got my clock set for my accountability called my alarm clock. And I was doing something and we were supposed to talk when she was late too. And I was thanking God, oh God, I thank you that she didn't call me. She shouldn't have to call me. I'm trying to get where she is. And the other day I was murmuring and complaining because I had so many Zooms that I was doing. And I got off of one and had to get on another one, had to do 2 3-way calls. And I said, oh Lord. And the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, do you know what Verdita does? How many calls she's making a day? You said you want to be where she is. Shut your mouth and
Be
get on this
careful what
next
you ask
Zoom.
for, right?
That's right. Close your mouth and get on this next Zoom. You got to do the work if you expect a reward. So that's what I wanted to say.
Well, you know what, Gwen, I'm just sitting here listening to you. You all listening to a person that does not make excuses. You hear her talking about from college. She does her own Zooms, her own 3-ways, and we need more people like that. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm like I said, I just gave you all a snippet of what to expect with this new comp plan, but you're gonna see ways that they have come up with that are designed to encourage you to, you know, create leaders in several levels, 6 levels deep, y'all. So it's, you know, we used to get those matching bonuses just on 3 levels. It's not going to be just on 3. It's going to be based on people who have hit certain ranks. Like, you know, say for example, if they are a director. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you what the rank is, but and it's not going to even be called director anymore. But let's say that you got matching bonuses 6 levels deep based on directors. What does that tell you? You want to create a lot of directors, right? So listen, they put some incentives out there, and we're going to be you're going to be very happy with to see some of the things they've done. Anybody else want to come on and share a few pointers with us tonight? We got some great leaders on this call. Jeffrey Payton.
Hi, Verdita.
Hey.
Listen, ditto on every word spoken, especially Kelly Fowler. When you lead with this business, folks, I had to switch gears too. You know, my story, some of you know it. It used to take 15 minutes. Now it's down to 1 minute, all right? But that's because I compartmentalized it in order to tailor it to the person that I'm speaking to. But by leading with the business, and then people asking me, well, what was your story? Why did you get involved? Then I can share it with them. Then it makes a big difference. But they realize early in the conversation that there's money to be made. You know, when folks on the level of the people that are on this Zoom right here get to hear what's gonna come down the pipe, what's coming down the pipe with the enhancements in the compensation plan, you know, I think you'll all be running with nitrogen fuel running through your veins. We got a 3-foot rule. You know, if you're within the sound of my voice, as terrible as my voice is, you're going to hear about this business, you know, and you're going to hear about it first. So with that being said, it just takes a whole lot less energy to put into talking about the business than it does in talking about the product. You know, we all know the product works. It's incredible, you know, but the compensation plan is incredible too. And I couldn't think of a better paired situation, especially knowing that we got 15 more years on this product of exclusivity. I was with a friend this past weekend, and you know, we pretty much had a patch party in the kitchen. You know, one of his relatives was Mr. Keith Henderson. One of his relatives was having pain with his knee, fell up the stairs coming into the kitchen from the basement. So I was like, man, that looked like it hurt. He said, oh yeah, it did. So patched him up, pain went away. His wife had pain, knee pain, patched her up, pain went away. Now, you know, they've already got product, right? But now they want to do the business because we managed to talk about the part about the business opportunity. So they're coming to the in-person meeting this weekend here at the Hampton Inn in Atlanta, Georgia, next to Papados. Listen, just lead with the business. To be honest with you, I mean, it's easy to get a customer. Folks, they'll tell you what they want. All right. And they'll tell you either they want to just try the product or whatever, or they want to make some money, but lead with the money. You know what I mean? And then you can talk about the product thereafter. But ditto to everything that was said. Verdita, you're doing an incredible job. And I appreciate the fact that you're only dropping little nuggets about the compensation plan, but we'll all have an understanding of it very, very soon.
Yeah,
Thanks, Verdita.
because I mean, we'll be here all night if I start talking about that.
I know.
And I'm not supposed to, I don't have the liberty to do all that anyway, but you're gonna get it. And but I just encourage you all just start taking this thing seriously because the company sure is. But Jeffrey, if you wanted to, for those of it in Atlanta, just know that if it's the event this weekend is at 11 o'clock at
Right.
the Hampton Inn, right next to Papa Do's off of the Jimmy Carter exit off of I-85. You can, all you gotta do is look for Papa Do's, look for it on, Google it, and there's a Hampton Inn right next to it.
11 o'clock sharp, folks. And
Yeah.
then there's going to be a quick start training right after. So, you know,
And-
come
and
prepared.
Reggie Stewart will be presenting, our president and
Yes.
director.
Yes, yes.
All right, well, thank you
Yeah.
for doing that. And
Oh,
so,
and by the way, real quick, if you wanted to come a little early, there's a hot breakfast served too, no charge. So come on in, have breakfast, and mingle with the rest of the group, and then we'll go right into the business.
all right, sounds good. All
Thanks,
right, who else
Verdita.
wants to share some either tips or share testimony on some success you've had? Because all of this encourages everybody, you guys, when you do that. I just had a small little something to share today. Professor Strother,
How you doing?
wonderful.
Awesome call tonight. Just want to remind everyone and really, I know a couple of weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks now, we've been having accountability calls on a weekly basis, some of the leaders, and we've been encouraged to do that with some of our key people on our team as well. And so I want to encourage, if you haven't started to do that, I want to encourage everyone to do that because it's all about connection and communicating. A lot of people communicate, but very few people connect. So you want the opportunity to connect and work with your people out there. And a good example was today. 2 of the people that I have weekly accountability calls with today, both of them had issues with their auto ship. They had some fraudulent things happen, and their auto ship didn't go through, but they updated their card, but it was after the auto ship already ran the process, and they were done, not knowing that you didn't run an order this month. You updated your auto ship, but it already tried to pull prior to you doing that, and you have to do a manual push. You have to do a manual order. Just doing something that simple, because I had one person that possibly lost their volume because so many days have went by. But just connecting, being able to come in and correct things like that is important. That we definitely touch base with our people every single week. I know one person we was able to save today, and she had thousands of accrued volume, you know, and so that makes a difference. But and we was able to do 2 manual orders to save that volume. So I want to encourage everyone to do that. And for nothing else, you know, we definitely got a lot of training elements. We got a lot of mindset principles that we definitely want to continuously communicate about, because it's all about mindset, I believe. The dynamics of running a business, I think, are very simple, but it's the mindset that it takes to do it that we need to spend time with. So I want to encourage everyone to definitely stay on self-development. Allow your cars to be Drive Time University like we all do. Because again, once you go through that mindset set and you go through that mental shift, everything else becomes easy. I remember one of my mentors said the hardest thing about making $1 million was believing that I can do it. So it's all about staying in self-development. So with that, thanks for allowing me to share, Verdita Monk, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, thank you. You know, it seems like it's 2 or 3 people in a row to start. I think it was Gwen, Kelly, and Jewel all talking about these accountability calls. And I'm telling you, they really are making a difference because, as he said, we start out each call seeing, where am I? Where am I this week? Like every Monday morning, that's one of the first things I do. And let me just say this because this is important. On Monday morning, if you've been around long enough and you're a leader, you will notice, you will find that the system will tell you what rank you are. You might be an SPD like myself, but you might not even be an SPD this week. You know why? Because somebody's structure has fallen apart. When I say structure has fallen apart, somebody in that's supposed to be a director or something, there's not director anymore just because one person fell out of qualification with their points. And so it's not the end of the world because you still got to the end of the week to correct that. But if you don't call it to that person's attention, you'd be surprised. Now, the people I'm on doing these accountability calls, that's not who I'm referring to, because these people, you know, are on point. But there are many people, even within their organizations, who are not on point and not catching what Jewel just said about somebody going inactive. Always look at your back office first thing on Monday. See if you're at your rank, because if you're not at your rank, guess what? Somebody above you could fall out of their qualification. Steve Merritt put it this way, because we were talking to him this weekend. He said, you could be an SPD out there on the beach somewhere at one of our eccentric trips. And then let's say that, you know, just anything over senior director, you got to have two directors, right? You got to have two directors to be anything over director. If you want to be a senior director, executive, whatever, you got to have two directors. Let's say you only had two directors, and for all of a sudden, one of them, maybe somebody fell out of qualification being manager. So guess what? Now that person's no longer director, and now you're no longer SPD. You are now a manager. And now that means you can only make 1,500 in binary commissions. You don't want that to happen. You don't want your binary commissions down to 1,500 when it could be, you know, 12,500 just in binary commissions. You know what I'm saying? So, or 25,000 to say, you know, for some people. So I'm just saying that to say that we got to start treating this like a business. Like Gwen was saying, we got to start treating this like a business, because it's really simple if we treat it like a business. So let's just start treating like this. These accountability calls, get with the person who's your coach and say, listen, let's talk once a week. Let's pick a day and time. We talked about this several weeks ago, and I said I was going to start doing these accountability calls. Talk to these people once a week so that they can say what they want their goal to be, and you can kind of, you know, just be accountable to them to help them reach their goal. It just makes a difference when you're accountable to somebody. So thank you for reinforcing that, Jewel. Anybody else want to say anything before we end this call? All right. Well, sounds like everybody who wanted to speak has spoken. And I want to thank you.
It's Monique. I'm
Oh.
sorry. I was actually given some instructions about the patch, so that's
Oh,
to
okay,
someone
no
else.
problem.
However, I just wanted to say the accountability calls are really important. I talked to, you know, the people who are actually doing the business, sometimes daily for those excited ones, and we just try to get a strategy. But the accountability calls that I have with you have been very, very, very helpful. And I just encourage everybody to do that. So I won't talk too long, so because I know we're signing off. And oh, don't forget, Friday, I am hosting the 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. noon lunchtime call for This Is It team. So tell people to join that call on Friday.
Yeah, please support Monique. And what she was saying is the situation. Not only am I, you know, accountable to Monique, but she's duplicating what we're doing. You want to go to the people that you've enrolled and find out who has a goal they want to reach, and you be accountable to them. And then hopefully then now they'll do that same thing. If they're a director or something, now they're going to do that with their managers. You see what I'm saying? So now you got people accountable all the way up. So if you call a play, everybody falls in line. Y'all, things are going to get even better. Thank you so much, Monique. We'll see you on the call Friday. Thank you all for joining. This call is recorded. I'll get it out to you. Have a good one.